Beholders hold the record for most number of eyes and least number of things they want to look at. When a beholder sees something, their first instinct is to murder it unless convinced otherwise, and trying to convince it not to kill you would probably piss it off, making it want to murder you. In general, they're not very nice. I don't care for them and I want them to die. But also, they're really deadly and I hate losing. Is there a strategy to make that challenge rating a little less scary? Well, I'm gonna explain in this series exactly why challenge rating is a joke and more of an extremely loose guideline than a rule. A party of 4 Beastmaster Rangers is gonna perform a lot differently than 4 Divination Wizards. Boom, there are the rules. They're also in the description. Now, despite them hating everything that isn't themselves, beholders are very lonely boys that need to have friends. So you're never gonna fight a beholder that doesn't have minions, unless your DM really wants the beholder to lose. However, that challenge rating is the beholder on its own. The party's gonna be 4 level 9 characters. The arena's gonna be a 120-foot cube, so they can't... yeah, do that. And the beholder will go first in initiative, so we'll be planning for the worst. The strategy is really simple and way more effective than it should be. The beholder's main attack is looking at you so hard you die. It shoots 3 of the following magical eye rays at random, choosing 1 to 3 targets it can see within 120 feet of it. Targets it can see. The team is going to be 4 warlocks, any race, any subclass. The only requirement is that all of them take the invocation's devil sight, which lets them see through magical darkness, and repelling blast, which pushes creatures back 10 feet when hit with their eldritch blast. Repelling blast isn't required, it's just disrespectful and funny to imagine a beholder, a being of pure perfection in its own eyes, being helplessly pushed into a wall over and over again by a bunch of people that were too lazy to learn magic, so they sold their souls to the first thing that offered. Before the battle, all of the warlocks cast darkness on themselves. The beholder can't see through magical darkness. If it can't see, it loses all of its abilities. Who would have thought? The beholder has an anti-magic cone, but that suppresses magic. It doesn't dispel magic. So if the beholder moves the anti-magic cone over one of the warlocks, the darkness will go away. But as soon as the warlock leaves the anti-magic cone, the darkness will come back. And the best part, the anti-magic cone also stops the eye rays. Because they're magic. The only way for the beholder to do anything is by using its bite attack, which I don't think any beholder has ever needed to do in the history of D&D. Slight problem, the beholder's move speed is 20 feet. That's only slightly faster than any playable race that lost both of its legs. So the warlocks just have to keep blasting it into the corner while it tries its best to use its teeth, which I have to assume are vestigial, hoping to break their concentration. If the beholder manages to damage the party at all, they had to have been trying to get hit. Death Tyrants are even easier, because instead of an anti-magic cone, they have... that's fucking useless. There is one problem though. The telekinesis ray. It can't target the characters, but what's to stop the beholder from picking up a 300-pound rock, moving it 30 feet, and dropping it on them? If I were a beholder, the floor of my lair would just be entirely made of 300-pound anvils, because that plan always works out. I do think it's funny to imagine the frustration of a beholder that has all these cool abilities, but the only thing it can do is toss some pebbles around. But the problem is there aren't any official rules for falling objects. The best I could find is the improvised damage section of the DMG, which says falling rubble in a tunnel collapse will deal 4d10 damage. But here's the thing. It doesn't even matter. Forget everything I said, they aren't warlocks, they're sorcerers. Wood elf shadow magic sorcerers. Shadow sorcerers can cast darkness that they can see through, and wood elves have a movement speed of 35 feet. Every turn they're gonna spend 2 sorcery points to use Quicken Spell to cast Magic Missile as a bonus action, and ready their action to dash 35 feet away if an anvil within 30 feet of them looks like it's about to become a Wile E. Coyote trap. I'm gonna make 2 assumptions and address alternatives later. If the beholder picks something up, it can't drop it until the start of its next turn. If the telekinesis eye is already holding something, it can't use the telekinesis eye again. If these 2 assumptions are true, then the sorcerers can just move out from under any boulder before it drops on them. What if the beholder moves the rock into the anti-magic cone, forcing it to fall? Hey, shut up. So now the only question is, can the sorcerers kill the beholder without running out of sorcery points? Yes, because as we learned in the dragon video, Magic Missile is strong as fuck. If all of them cast a 5th level, then 2 4th level Magic Missiles after 3 rounds, that's 76 d4 plus 76 damage. The odds of killing the beholder are so high that my calculator won't even tell me the odds. It just says, fuck you, the beholder's dead. But what if it's in its lair? The challenge rating went up, so now the party's level 10, but that doesn't change anything. Let's look at its lair actions. Okay, that doesn't throw a wrench into the plan, that throws the whole ass hardware store. A 50-foot square becomes difficult terrain, which means half movement. Okay, now the sorcerers are gonna take 2 levels of rogue so they can dash as a bonus action, maintaining their ability to run 35 feet per turn is only 4 miles per hour. Fun fact, Usain Bolt's move speed would be 240 feet. Anyway, I don't need to worry about the slimy floor. It says the wall's within 120 feet of the beholder. I am so confident they can stay away from the walls, so I'm not worried about that. The last one is where things get tricky. An eye appears that can shoot a random eye ray, so that's a 10% chance of telekinesis. Ah, shit. Now the beholder can pick up 2 rocks at once. So if that eye gets telekinesis on the same round as the beholder, one of the sorcerers is going to have a piano drop on their head. Oh boy, it's time for some binomial probability, everyone's favorite part of D&D. There's a 2.7% chance that the eye and the beholder get telekinesis in the same round. Luckily, that can only happen once every 3 turns. Assuming the beholder uses that one first, it won't be able to do it again until the 4th turn, which isn't much of an issue because we'll be reading its eulogy by then. I'm gonna assume the worst case scenario is the beholder manages to catch 2 of the sorcerers in the slimy floor, which means those 2 will need to use their bonus action to dash instead of casting magic missile. Then on the 3rd round, the beholder will have taken 58d4 plus 58 damage, and they only have to worry about getting bouldered on the 1st turn. So there's a 97% chance that not only the beholder dies, but that we don't even need to find out what happens if a character runs face first into a tunnel painted on the wall. A boulder drops on their head. My bad. I know people are gonna disagree with my interpretations, so I'm gonna go back for a second and address that. If you assume that they can drop rocks at will and pick up multiple rocks at once, with layer actions, there's only a 78% chance that no one has to try to catch a rock with their face, except there's a 47% chance that the beholder gets telekinesis in the 1st round before anyone has a chance to ready their action to run away. The problem is, I don't know the rules for falling objects. Is there a dex save? What's the DC? A flat 10? 15? Is it the beholder's DC? Do they take half damage on a success or no damage? Also, what is the damage? How'd you not think of this one, Jeremy? How can I come up with a strategy when I don't know the rules? That's why I've been trying to avoid the boulders entirely. If I knew, I could find the odds they pass the save, find the odds they don't break concentration, and all the other boring shit no one cares about. I'm pretty confident they still win at least 85% of the time, but I have no way of figuring that out. Unless... What if we take away the rogue levels and just let one of the sorcerers die? Fuck it! Blintley the sorcerer lived a good life. It's a noble sacrifice. There's only a 7.3% chance of getting 2 boulders before everyone goes in initiative, so if the remaining 3 sorcerers cast a 5th level and 2 4th level magic missiles, that's a 99% chance that the beholder dies and an 80% chance that only Blintley takes damage via boulder to the face. Sorry, Blintley. Those are not great odds, but that's why you don't take telekinesis for granted. Dungeons & Dragons is a balanced game. The strategy for Death Tyrants is pretty much the same. A problem has been pointed out to me by my friend SpuddyCube, who makes cool gaming challenge videos, and you should check him out. Beholders are smart, which is fucking annoying. Their layer wouldn't be a 120-foot cube, it'd be a 30-foot wide, 100-foot tall cylinder, meaning the anti-magic cone would cover the entire layer and the fight would just be dodging boulders with no hope of dealing damage. Unless they're centaurs that take a 3rd level of Thief Rogue, take the mobile feat, and dash 150 feet up a vertical wall in 1 turn. Boulders can't fall on you if you're on the ceiling. Magic missile, dead beholder. This plan actually works better than the original plan. So thanks, Spuddy. But yeah, that's how you kill beholders. See you next time when I talk about young dragons.